my mission is complete. So what's up guys, welcome back again to another video. So today we're gonna check out my Blaus V Premium deck profile. I guess you call it this now, V Premium. So I know this is really late, but like the cards came in quite late because I couldn't find it, and then like I just had to wait for the retails. Yes, I could have bought it online like overseas, but I would be paying more of the cost for the shipping rather than the card itself. So I decided to pass and hope, wait for my retails to actually get more stocks, because the Blaus were like really like high demand, I guess, you know, so I got basically everything now, and yeah, so we'll just check it out like usual in the video. So over here, my Blaus deck was quite, I think it's like similar to a lot of deck lists, but there are a few cards that I wanted to show that is really different and I have not seen in the list of a lot of other players. So I just wanted to show you my deck profile. So first, let's check out the main boss unit, Stern Blaus. Great, I think you can read the text, but I'll show you a card. I think in the screen you should see Evil. I will show you edit some cards in so you guys can see the text clearly. Stern Blaus. During your turn, if you have a Blaus in your soul, all of you create 3 units with Blaus in their card name, gets 10k power. Second skill is at the end of the attack, you get to discard 2 cards from your hand. So superior, buy a Galaxy Blaus from your recard circle, then write it as stand, but it loses 1 drive for the turn. So good multi-attacking. If Blaus kept his multi-attacking like usual, and the 10k buff really good to counter your opponent defensive trigger, a lot of Axel spamming, so really good honestly. There's not really a minus to it honestly, and then I guess the -1 drive for discard 2, but then remember that you twin drive, so you actually don't minus. So we have Galaxy Blaus 10. So this is the I guess this is the secondary boss unit honestly. This is the finisher, but honestly everything works only because of Stern Blaus. I'll tell you why. And Blaus basically, this is actually the second sub boss unit honestly. So during your turn, if you have a Blaus in your soul, just like the Stern, all of your create 3 units with Blaus in that card name gets 10k power, and he has actually 3 skills. His second skill is when it attacks, you get a counter blast 1, and look for a Stern Blaus in your soul to superior call. So basically what it does is, if you use the skill of Stern to superior ride, you can attack, counter blast to superior call Stern Blaus to your new Axel 2 or Axel 1 circle that you just generated, most likely Axel 2, and yeah, basically give you another multi attack for a counter blast. Really nice. And then since also it's a create 3, you get the 10k power if you have a Blaus, and also he has a third skill. When rolled upon by a unit by a card with Blaus in its card name, you get to call him to the rear card. So that includes if you write Galaxy Blaus over Galaxy Blaus to call a Galaxy Blaus. I think that's like, honestly, if you had Galaxy Blaus and no Stern Blaus in your hand, honestly writing it would be nice because you get the Axel, plus you call it anyways. So that is also an option, but that'll be really bad because what you wanna do is use the right on Stern and then superior call, and then attack with Galaxy Stern, then use a skill to superior right as Galaxy attacks, call Stern. And if you there's a card that later on I will show you that if you had Stern in your hand again, like if you bounced it, you get to ride him again and then call Galaxy to loop the skill, which is really good. I love that mechanic, and I honestly like Blaus since the start of the series, but never since I got in late. Blaus got support really late, like at GPT 10, which at the time was like, I don't know, I just couldn't find the cards, I couldn't find sellers, and my retails weren't opening the box, I think. So yeah, and then I ran 4 of, well, I'm gonna show you these cards actually later on because it's quite different than on a lot of cards. So first, let's show you what the grade 2 is. Now going to the grade 2 lineup, let's show to the main grade 2 first. Blaus. So Blaus is the grade 2 that activates the skill of Stern and Galaxy, both of them with the 10k buffs. So Blaus has 2 skills, hopefully you guys can read. Like, I mean, as in like you guys can see. What's wrong? My hand looks so weird. It's fine, my hand looks fine actually. When placed, counter blast 1, look at the top 7 cards on your top of deck. Search for a card with Blaus in his card name, and add it to your hand. Add a card with Blaus, sorry, not Blaus, and the second and then add to your hand. So for nice +1 for counter blast. Then second skill is at the end of battle attack. If you have a rear card with Blaus in this card name, send him to the soul. Wait, what? At the end of battle attack, if you have a Vanguard, sorry, why a rear card? We have Vanguard with Blaus in this card name. You get to put him into the soul and draw a card. So this card is only used in Blaus decks basically because of the first skill and second skill. But this card is a key card, like you said. I saw you from the create 3 that the create 3 only gives 10k from Blaus, and this is really good because it helps with card consistency. Plus also the put in the soul to draw a card is actually really useful because if you remember, you need Blaus Kluger in the soul to activate Stern or Galaxy skill. Otherwise, so what you do is you essentially at the end of the attack, it says 8 attack. So regardless if you swing on a rear card or swing on a Vanguard, you get to put him in the soul, draw a card, then activate the create 3 if you are sitting on a create 3, give a 10k and then activate it. So all of your create 3 units gain a huge buff, honestly. So yeah. And then I run 2 Brute the Beast. So this is actually budget friendly. I forgot to mention this deck is really budget friendly, and the only triple rare that is in this deck is legit Galaxy Blaus Kluger, which is actually not that expensive. Also, it's like $5 a piece. I think $5 to $6 a piece. So like for a really good tier 2 deck, honestly, it feels like a tier 1. It's less than $50, which is insane, honestly. And then Brute the Beast. So this is a common, which is really cheap. Honestly, it's common. So its skill is act on rear card once per turn. If you have a creator or creator, if your Vanguard is a creator or creator, it looks so different on my camera. Counter blast 2 to call a create 3 to search your deck for up to 1 create 3 and call it the rear card circle. So this pretty straightforward. If you have free counter blast, extra counter blast, you can counter blast to superior call for more multi attacking. Really nice card. It works with the create 3 deck, and then it's also coming from VVD 11 from the same set Blaus actually come out. So this is just a nice common to help, and it's actually really could be really good. Like, why is it really so much? really good. Yeah, just stop saying really. And then yeah, so just like it's a good card, it's a good common. For a counter blast 2, it may be expensive, but actually in this deck it basically almost uses no counter blast, other than legit the whole Riot Chain uses only Galaxy and normal Blaus, and they only use once. And like Galaxy, you can use it multiple times, but like that's once per turn, and then like Blaus Kluger is once per game, which is like, yeah. So you can, it just shows that the deck doesn't use counter blast, and using counter blast would be useful with the skill of Brute the Beast. And then this is a really I saw some lists playing this earlier, but then like later on I realized that a lot of other lists decided to not use Stylus Hustler. So Stylus Hustler is actually honestly an interesting card. So Stylus Hustler skill is when your other rear card is retired by your opponent's card of ability, so +1 and return the card from among return one card from among those cards to your hand. So basically it says, let me translate it to be easier. When your rear card gets popped, so +1 bounce one of the rear cards that got popped. It says one of the rear cards because this skill activates only once when your rear card. So like if your opponent were to retire keep retiring one by one, you can also keep soul blasting to return one by one. But remember that if you were to fight with Blade Master against Blade Master, you can activate his skill, but you can only activate once. And then he says that you get to bounce one of those cards actually. So when your other rear card, so I think you can actually bounce back Stylus Hustler, but you won't really do that. You wanna bounce back the create 3s mainly. So this is a good legit retire counter, and also has a second skill which is actually pretty solid. When it attacks, this unit gets 3k until end of turn for each card in your damage zone. So this, if you have 5 damage, can go to 24, which is 24 is a magical number, which basically your opponent will have to card more than you have to card with 15k at least to hit their Vanguard, no matter if Axel, Protect, or Force, other than like Majesty, Lord Blaster, I guess. So this is really good for no cost. It basically gives power, and also it counters retire. I guess remember that it's also his skill cannot proc for himself. I guess you can bounce him if you were to hit by Blade Master, but you cannot use his skill. You cannot proc his skill when he gets retired, because he says when your other rear card gets retired. Would be also really inconvenient for your opponent to have to pop their rear card first. So going to the great ones now. So I have two cards which is actually main for like basically only for Blau deck. So Blau Panzer, this is a really common card. This is not new in all. You will always run 4. Basically, your skill is when placed on Vanguard. This is actually errata. So it says Blau Cooker, which is a grade 2, but you actually it means the Blau Junger, the grade 0, which is the starter of that. Oh, it's upside down. It's this card. Oh yeah. After that, before I actually go into further, before I talk about Blau Panzer, I wanted to mention this. So what this is a grade 2 that you can also use instead of Stylus Hustler or any other card, honestly. Either Brute Beast, Stylus Hustler, or Warrior of Chakarm. So Warrior of Chakarm is a interesting card. When your card is attacked, when your Vanguard is attacked, sorry, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets 5k shield for each card in your damage zone. So when you say, oh, that's an interesting card, remember that it's an intercept and you're playing Axel. So this card is really good for defensive option. But if you ask me why I don't play it, I tried it, but then I realized that it's really vulnerable because like if you were to being attacked the first time and then you were to use a skill, it can gain up to 25k plus shield, which makes it 30k shield. But then unless you intercept it the first time, which you don't really guard the first. Usually you don't really intercept the first attack depending on the deck. This card can be really bad because like if they already know, oh, that is getting buffed really nice, they will just, instead of attacking your Vanguard, they will just try to attack it. So if you were to want to guard it, it would be always, it could redirect attacks, but then I doubt that like the opponent will be, it's easier to play around. Plus also if they intercept this would be really bad. Intercepted if they retired it, or like for example they seal the intercept, this card would be honestly useless. So I feel like this card is good. You can play it if you like the defensive option, but I feel like it's risky to play it because it's easily counterable. So yeah, and then like back to Blau Panzer. Blau Panzer skill is when placed from Blau Junger, so it's supposed to be Blau Junger. They errata it. You reveal the top 5 cards of your deck to add a Blau unit, so like Blau Kluger to the hand with no cost. And then he has a second skill though. On recurve circle, when placed, you get to essentially discard a trigger unit to search for a grade 3 Blau unit. So basically discard a defensive card for a offensive card basically. So that is really good, can come in handy, really come in handy like quite well. And then for Morgenrod, so Morgenrod, if you ever played Blaus, you would remember this card so well, or like you played against Blau. Morgenrod was basically the new Blau Junger starter because it was really good with Galaxy, and it's really good now. So Morgenrod has a simple skill. At the end of your turn, retire this unit, so you retire the Morgenrod to bounce a card with Blau in this card, bounce a Blau unit from your rear card to the hand, which is really nice. Like I said, sense turn, and you can essentially loop the effect if you of Galaxy and turn if you were to bounce a card. Now I was talking about this. So basically you attack, use a skill to superior right, then well actually attack, use a skill to superior right, then attack, then superior call. Now at the end of turn, and then this one attacks. So at the end of turn, what you wanna do is basically retire it to get this again, and then next turn you can ride it again to call it again. Now you loop it. So basically this is really good. It basically saves you a lot, and since you bounce card in your hand, your rear cards are safe from retire. Plus also if you were to, since you retired Morgenrod, you basically like make your field less vulnerable to get popped anyway. So really good honestly. And then after that, these are some cards that honestly are the most different cards that are basically people don't really play this in their deck. I see. First we have 3 Grid Bangle. So Grid Bangle, I don't think a lot of people play it because people find it unnecessary, but for me, there were extra grade 1 slots. You could think that why don't you play the order card? This card, well this cards, I will show you after this why I don't use the normal order, or like what else an option is there. I actually use the grade 3 searcher originally, but then I realized the grade 3 searcher is unnecessary for this deck, and it's also quite expensive. It's just like not necessary for this deck because of how consistent it is. Plus, since you have to discard a card, it's quite negative honestly. You don't want to discard your cards for a grade 3. because you are gonna call them, you have other options to get those grade 3s anyway. So Great Bengal is just to substitute for the grade 1. So it's really good because like remember that your Vanguard gains pressure, already puts pressure. Now what you do is basically you add the pressure, which is really good for like, that's how you say Great Bengal is just good. Great Bengal is always a really good card for a common, although it says that you -1 because you put back the front trigger, you put your front trigger from your hand to the deck. You don't really minus because you check the front trigger anyway, so that is really good honestly. So that's why I run 3 Great Bengals. If you don't want to run him, sure, it's not the end of the world, but this cards come in clutch. It's Shout. So if you remember, Shout was the filter for the grade 1 rest this unit to drop a card and discard a card and draw a card. It was the filter for the what was it? For Nova Grappler, and I think you use it in Beast DD. But this card, I realized that this card exists, and this is amazing for this deck. I don't know why a lot of people didn't play him. Maybe because Shout is an RNG, like it needs RNG honestly. So what is Shout? His skill, Shout is a grade 1. His skill is at the end of an attack, Vanguard. Wait, no. What the heck? I read it wrong. Act on recard circle, rest this unit. You and your opponent reveal the top card of the deck. If their grades are different, basically the fighter who revealed the higher grade adds a draw card, and the fighter who revealed the lower grade sends it to soul. If both grades are the same, draw a card. But then also since you only reveal, so basically you draw the card with, if you reveal the higher grade, you get to add the card to your hand, and the person who revealed the lower one to the soul, if it was the same, would take the card. So because since they only reveal, it basically goes to your hand. So this is really good because I realized that there is a problem with this deck when if they don't get Blaus over here, their power might be less, like not as strong as if they were to have Blaus. So if you basically RNG and got Blaus, Shout can come come in handy, because since you get Blaus, you can basically add him to your hand, then send him to the soul somehow. Because if you were to reveal him and your opponent reveal a grade 3 or a grade 5, you send him to the soul, so your buff comes in. Or if it goes to your hand, you can just use his skill, so at the end of an attack, send him to the soul, draw a card, then just make your opponent feel more sweaty basically, because of since you have Blaus in the soul now. So that is really good, and on top of that, it can be really nice because it gives you free plus, it filters your opponent, they might lose their key card. So Shout is just a good card in general. There's a lot of versatility. Yes, you rest a card, but then he's a 6k base anyways, you don't really risk anything since you're also using his skill and potentially getting a +1. The worst case scenario is that your opponent gets to draw more, but I mean, if the logic is that if they reveal the higher grade, they will have less sale value. If you reveal grade 0s, then your opponent gets a grade 0, but you too, so you don't really lose. The worst thing is that you get a grade 0 and they get a grade 1 for shield value, but you don't really see people using grade 1 PGs anyway, so like it's really safe honestly, because grade 0s are with the PGs now, the Sentinels. And then the trigger lineup, pretty simple. The starter, 4 crits, 4 heals, 4 heals I mean, and then 4 fronts. Over here you might see, wait, it's Aqua Force, it's alright. I needed to trade to my friend with the last 2 front triggers, and I haven't been able to meet him due to quarantine, so in the future it will be front triggers. And also this front triggers is funny because it's from VVT 11. Cannonballs had an errata where instead of front triggers it said here it's stand. I don't think you guys can see it. Oh, you can see it. Oh, like, look at that, it's stand. Which is funny. It is like, what happened there? And then 4 draw PGs. Maybe you want to run the crit sentinel. Honestly, it would be nice for the crit pressure, but obviously I actually honestly think the draw triggers are needed in this deck, because sometimes you might run out of steam, plus also running the just like draw triggers. Honestly, I feel like the draw PGs are more safe. I guess the crit gives more pressure, but then again, you don't really need the crit pressure. It would be more profitable for you to run more defensive cards anyway. So I would show you mulligans, but I can't really mulligan right now because my deck isn't not shuffled yet. If I were to shuffle, it would be taking too long. So that's it for the deck profile basically. Really good deck, you guys should try it out. Hopefully in the future I might be able to showcase the deck, but for now I can't really showcase it because I don't have it set up yet. Yeah, so that's it for me today. I'll be signing out here, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments down below on your thoughts of the cards. And yeah, so also I wanted to mention the grade 1 normal order. You might ask, why aren't you playing it? Oh, because of Shout. Shout is just, honestly in my opinion, just way better. It is RNG, but you don't really lose anything, honestly. Just like, yeah, so that's it for me today. I'll be signing out here, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.